Welcome to Motor City Comic Con 2015.
Let's start with Dawn. All three of you at one point were huge sex symbols. Especially no. Listen, my dad owned a real estate company in Detroit. There could not be enough good times chatter all day long. No. Kid Dynamite all day long.
Tom, they those guys.
I mean, all three of you had to deal with it at one point. Dawn, if you want to start, how was it encompassing like that? You're thrown into a whole new culture of everybody asking for a handshake, an autograph, and on top of it, everyone wants like their wife to look like you now.
Well, no, I wasn't the sex symbol.
No. You were the sex symbol. I'm telling you. Everyone said Marianne was the sex symbol.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
Maybe what it was just the short shorts. We were the first short shorts ever on television.
That's true.
We had to cover my navel.
Yeah.
Ginger had to cover her cleavage. We only got 5 seconds an episode to show it. So I'm sure we would say, here I am, call back to the set. They could see Dawn's navel once or twice. But there was nothing sexy about Marianne except innocence, availability, attainable. She'd have been your best friend. You had to work at Ginger a little bit. You know, she was a little bit more high maintenance. But I'm sure the fan mail then, 12-year-old isn't going to write and tell you you were a sex symbol. Now that he's 40, he says, boy, did I have eyes for you at 12.
And I know, John, for a long time, I loved the show, and then I hated you because I couldn't fit those tight jeans. And that was like
it's not my fault.
I know. But man, like, talk about the sex symbol, like, I could not hear enough of my sister and her friends talking about you guys. How is it dealing with that stuff? How is it to even maintain a relationship when you're thrust into that kind of world?
You tried to person.
It certainly is difficult, but it was wonderful. It was wonderful. No, that's a great. What a privilege. What fun. My gosh.
But you don't take it seriously, do you? I mean, does it really? Is that really?
No, because I'm shallow and superficial, so I didn't take it seriously, and I hope that they didn't either. It was a lot of fun. It was great. It was, but when it was happening, we weren't really not aware of that. Because as Dawn said earlier, we were working. A 12-hour day was really a short day. And it's not like, oh, it was terrible work. I mean, it was great work. It was great fun, wonderful people. But still, if you spend 16 hours a day, 5 days a week at Disneyland, you're going to get worn out. So there wasn't a lot of time to act upon, let alone recognize the sex symbol thing.
Yeah.
That happened after. You know, afterwards, that's when you start to realize, like Jimmie said, you start to realize the impact that a show has on an audience. You don't realize that at CBS Radford. Where did you shoot?
We shot at KTTV.
At KTTV?
Yes, way down there in Melrose, whatever it was, Van Ness.
Then Warner Brothers, you know, they don't recognize that. Dean Cain, I'm sure, had no concept because he was at Warner Brothers lot. We did Smallville. We're up in Vancouver in an old freezer that they did the X-Files. It was a big freezer, but it was a freezer next to a sawmill. They have no concept of what's going on out there. But once you do, it was it was fun.
I know when growing up, there was 2 shows that I watched that had a lot of growing up. My sister and I would always throw jabs at each other. So if I wanted some new ammunition, I watched Sanford and Son, and I watched Good Times. Good Times, JJ and Thelma had some good back and forth. How much of that was yours? Because you've got to be an ad-libber as a comedian, right?
Yeah, I think that actually may have gotten me in trouble with the, it's like John was saying, when people write stuff, and you say, well, maybe not this, I'm going to go with this. They go, well, wait a minute, we wrote that. And I go, yeah, look, we're just gonna make it a little bit, but we're very good. You go, oh, we're just gonna try this out. Well, no, our stuff is good. And they take it, they take it hard and, wait, we wrote that. Well, this got a big laugh, like, yeah, but that was a mistake. Our joke would have been bigger than that. So it's always that kind of thing. People, they want their stuff done. I did a lot of ad-libbing because being a comedian and writing a lot of stuff for my alleged act, I was always thinking. I'm thinking with them because my mind thinks that way. I go, even now, it's terrible to say, if I watch a show or a movie, my thing is I can't watch it because I'm thinking, here's what they should say. And then they don't say it, and you go, boy, I think mine would have been better.
And Don, how about, like, is there any love, maybe relationships you would have liked to have seen if the show had gone longer than 3 seasons?
I'd like to have had a little bit of that professor. There was no romance. You couldn't, we were goody two-shoes. You couldn't bring up anything. Really, there was no double entendre about anything, no love affairs going on, just a sitcom out of the living room, basically what it was. Now that I've raised 3 generations, you see the reaction it had when that 12 or 13-year-old boy discovered you for the first time. I know I did maybe this is, are any of your young kids here?
They're not listening.
I was interviewing for Australia, Channel 9. I was the foreign press, and I would interview all the movies that came out. My very first interview was Nick Nolte. And Nick Nolte can be tough, and I followed, Germany was interviewing him, and a German woman, and he had a fight, and he screamed out of the room, and I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? It was my first time. I handed the VCR to the woman in the booth, and I said, what am I going to do? She said, just give it a shot. And I walked in, and Nick Nolte went, I can't believe it. You got me through puberty in the nicest of ways. That world is like pretty well.
There's a lot of poignant moments in each of your shows. One I remember specifically from Good Times when Michael, if you remember, comes home with a gun. You remember that episode? And it's hard to find comedy sometimes, like you were saying, not just in every show, but when you're talking about something so serious, it's hard to always find the comedy in that scenario. But again, with Jimmie, you walk in the room.
Well, I think our show was different from a standpoint of Don had Sherwood Schwartz, who was really just a bam, hit yourself over the head with a melon kind of guy. Producers lead the way. I don't know who did your show, John. He doesn't even know. But the producer leads the way of whatever goes on. We had Norman Lear. Legendary cat, man. Really into it. And Norman, I always say this, we had 3 different producership cats of sitcoms when I was there. We had Gary Marshall, who did Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and all that stuff like that, Mork and Mindy, and they were more smash mouth, go for it kind of stuff. Then you had the Mary Tyler Moore people. And I'm not sure you're ever going to see anything like this again in terms of Mary Tyler Moore. Because if you look at every show, whether it be Rhoda, Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, whatever else was done over there, they all have very attractive women. Mary Tyler Moore, obviously extremely attractive, extremely talented, but there was never a hint of any sexuality on the show. And every woman was single, but nothing, you don't even
Except for Betty White.
Betty White, of course. Betty White, yeah.
She's still working.
She's still going.
That's right.
Yes, but other than Betty White, there was, Mary Tyler Moore, obviously on her show, extremely attractive. She had a job. So you would think some sleazeball guy would come around and, whatever, but it never was ever dealt with. And then you had us, and we had Norman Lear, which he dealt with a whole different thing. If you look at all his shows, All in the Family, Maude, Good Times, One Day at a Time, Jeffersons, and the list goes on of every other thing. And he dealt with hard issues. And he wanted to deal. And I would say to Norman, Norman, we're delivering a message here, but we're a sitcom. If you want to deliver a message, go work for Western Union. said, listen, he says, no. And he would actually, this is unusual, and these folks will tell you, he would take jokes out. He says, I don't want a joke there. I want a moment. I said, I don't need any moments, Norman. I'm here for the jokes. And he would say, no, we're not doing it. And he would take stuff out because he wanted moments. And I think that's the reason that a guy like that lasts for so long. Because he just really fought it. I mean, if you look at a lot of his shows, especially All in the Family, that show may not even get on the air today because of political correctness. You know, in terms of the black issue, in terms of the Hispanic issue, in terms of the gay issue. I mean, Archie was totally against it, and he used all sorts of words that you can't use now. And so that was a whole other thing. So what Sherman Hemsley did on the Jeffersons, the way he talked about white people, and this and that. You couldn't get away with that nowadays, you know, in terms of what Moore did. And, you know, she had the abortion show. You couldn't do that now. So that was kind of the deal. I think Norman was a guy who was different than everybody else like that.
I wanted to say something a little bit about Jim Backus, who was really, really funny.
I love Jim. Mr. Magoo, for anybody doesn't know, and also on obviously Don's show.
And Jim was a master at comedy, and Mrs. Howell was not so much. And she said, Jim, you're getting all the laughs, all this ad-libbing, you're doing all this ad-libbing. So he said, all right, I'll teach you how to ad-lib. So then you see them coming out of the hut, they're both trying to ad-lib each other, trying to get funny, and they weren't. But he was a master. He'd say, take this word out, you'll get a bigger laugh. The very last special we did was the Globetrotters. It's a ridiculous plot. One of those 90 minutes that you hope to get through. But he had been not well, and he came in with his male nurse, and he just had a couple of little lines. It just makes me cry. And he came in and he kind of shuffled to the close-up, and he had this funny little line. He said 2 or 3 things, and he came up to me and he grabbed my hand and he said, was I funny? He didn't know, he couldn't tell, and he was a genius at that. And you think, when does it leave us? When does it not come from the soul? Because it came from the soul all the time. And it was really something.
Yeah, you know, he's great. He was so good. The Mr. Magoo stuff he did, your show, on years and years, he was excellent. Jim Backus, legend.
Excellent radio all the time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thurston on the third. I can't remember his name. He was on Jack Benny.
Excellent. Monster talent. Monster talent.
Any cues? I can't. Okay, Vic, go.
Okay, about Jim Backus, I'm into old radio shows, and he used to play, I guess, the forerunner of Thurston Howell III on the show with Alan Young. And he'd come on, do his bit, and then he was always going off, he was so guilty, he was always going off to buy a new Cadillac. What happened to the old Cadillac? Well, the ashtrays are full.
Right.
Or it's pointing in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
The gas tank is empty.
And Alan Young is still alive, I believe.
Is he really?
Alan Young is 95 or 96.
Wow.
And he was Wilbur Post in Mr. Ed. And he's still
He was also the president of Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, but he was, something the third.
Yeah.
I just bought a set of golf clubs.
He played the same
One's in
character.
Miami, one's in,
He played the same character, and he says, you're in the presence of, I'll just say, Thurston Howell III, and Bob Hope said, why don't you stand up straight when he said your name? Respect, my boy. I'm in my presence, too.
There you have my wife drive the same car with a chauffeur.
Toxic Pop has a new Facebook page. Like it to see pictures and keep informed about our upcoming events and videos. A link is in the description. Go to www.facebook.com/toxicpop1.